Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It is the final Shabbat before Yom Tov, before Shana Tovah. And we've got a lot to talk about and a lot to bless. Start off by blessing the candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehalikneh Shel Shabbat. Bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. We're on Rick Concoff's Coffee House celebrating Shabbat. And I'm going to go into the comments and see maybe if anybody has any comments, if anybody's there at all. We're getting ready to celebrate the new year. And in the new year, we do new things. And so I want to suggest that we all try to imagine or think of a new story. Not a different story necessarily, but a new story. A story that is about us being more conscious, being more awake, being more aware of others. I went to a conference this week, and at the conference, it was a virtual conference of Jewish communal workers, young Jewish communal workers, mostly, a few of us not so young. And we were introduced to some pedagogies of teaching. And there was one pedagogy of teaching that I was particularly interested in. And that was one that said we kind of approach learning backwards. Because we basically think that kids go to school to learn stuff, to learn information, to be able to learn information, to be able to remember information, and to remember to shoot it back to us. So it's basically an absorption of information. And that's probably, I would say, and what I got from this presentation, the least important thing. The most important thing that was stressed by this presentation was um, love. So what do we mean by love? We mean being able to have relationships, caring about the people in your cohort or your class, getting to know the people in your cohort or your class, and really being surrounded by inclusion and love. And then when you establish that environment, and when you've created an environment of caring and love and honoring the other and listening to the other, then you can move into um, learning on a higher level than information, and that would be understanding. And so many kids will tell you, and we can all remember that you take a test and then you forget everything, especially if it's objective or subjective, really material. You just kind of forget it and you let it go dormant. But if there's understanding and there's grasp of a concept and a meaning, then learning becomes real. So I once was in a class and we were talking about God. And you'll notice that I bring God up almost every Shabbat, and that's because God is present in everything and nothing and everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. And if we can dismiss the idea that God is anything that we can describe or name or draw or sing or recreate, and that God is this thing that is either bigger or smaller than our ability to perceive. And we're constantly asked by people who aren't sure to prove God. And it's interesting that this rabbi pointed out that being asked to prove God is to ask to prove love. So I think we all agree, by virtue of the fact that there are more books, movies, songs, paintings written about love than probably any other medium. Love is attributed to more different kinds of situations, like I love my mom, I love my brother, I love my coffee, I love my chocolate, I love my friends, I love baseball, I love this moment. So many different ways in which the word love is used. And yet, if you went up to someone and said, can you define love? Try to define love. Love is more than liking. Love is the opposite of hate. You can always talk about love in respect to another thing. But you cannot say, just like, what is a candle? A candle is made of wax and a wick and a flame, and it burns. You can say, what is love? It's almost, to define love is to try to define God. So the closest we can come, or the students in the class came, was to say, well, love, you can't define love, and you can't hand someone love, but you can demonstrate love. You can witness love. And of course, there's lots of kinds of love. So that doesn't really make a definition of love. It makes a characterization of love. So does love exist? Can you imagine someone saying, I don't believe in love? Okay? I'm a non-believer in love. So what would that mean? I don't believe in love. So I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say I don't believe in love. Where people say I don't understand love, or I don't feel love, or I don't receive enough love, but I have never heard someone say I don't know what love is. So we feebly attempt to define love, but we can only define it in terms of an observation or characterization or witnessing. We witness love, we feel love. So all of those things apply to the concept of God. And so, as a matter of fact, in the Ve'ahavta, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul, etc., which people say all the time after the Shema, but they don't a lot of times feel it or think it. Shema. They say it. They say the Ve'ahavta. But the Ve'ahavta doesn't say, and you should believe in God, or you should understand God, or you should know God, or you should prove God. It says, and you should love God. There's love and God standing side by side, neither of which can we define. So what is it to love, and what is it when we say God? So this is a riddle, and not one that we have to answer, but one that helps explain the enigma that is God, and the enigma that is love. Because sometimes we think we see or feel or experience the presence of God, but then we don't. And sometimes we think we see or feel the experience of love, and we don't. So lots of comparisons and analogies there around the idea of love and God. Hello, Phyllis, and thank you for saying hello, because then I know I'm really broadcasting and it's really coming through. And I love all you guys to say hello and Shabbat Shalom when we do this little thing on Friday night. Also, if you know anybody who is a teenager who would like to go to a 5 o'clock p.m. kind of pre-Rosh Hashanah era service on Zoom, then I am offering that on Monday night at 5 o'clock. And all you have to do is private message me, and I'll send you the link, and you can send that to your cousin or your nephew or your niece or your grandchild or your daughter or your son or your whomever that you think would be interested in just coming and talking a little bit about the topic of how can we make life easier, more meaningful, and less stressful. That's the topic of that session. Let's go, God. So Ahava is a Hebrew word for love and has the etymological Aramaic root of I give. So Yom Tov is coming up, and it's important to think about what we give to others, and what we share, and how we care and include others, as I was saying before. And it's important how we love ourselves and what we give to ourselves. So what are we going to give to ourselves on this Yom Tov? I'm going to give to myself less worry and more faith. Kind of do back to back like that. I'm going to give myself less frustration and more clarity. I'm going to give myself less sadness and more joy. I'm going to give myself more credit and less criticism. I'm going to give myself more exercise and less sitting around. Think about what are the things that you're going to give to yourself. What are the things you're going to give to others? Because when you give to yourself, you give to others. And what do you need? I was thinking today as I walked with my friend to lunch, I need people to slow down. Now that's a very complicated need because that's me needing other people to do something. So I'm not going to say that. I need less noise on the streets. I don't know if that's possible. It used to be not okay to go rev up your motor right when you drive by people, but apparently that's a new fun thing that people do. And it always startles me. So that's a way that someone could give to another. But if you get your jollies out of revving up your motor and making a lot of noise, you're not going to be doing that. which reminds me of this song. Feeling groovy. Slow down, moving too fast. Got to make the morning last just. Get you down the cobblestone. Looking for fun and feeling groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. Hello there, folks. What you doing? Come to watch your flowers glowing. Ain't you got no rhyme for me? Feeling groovy. Feeling groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. I got no needs to do, no promise to keep. I'm dappled and drowsy and ready to sleep. Let the morning sun drop all its petals on me. Glad to love you all in me. Ba-da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da, feeling groovy. And this has been a week of some sad things. And one of the biggest ones was the realization of the loss, I don't want to say waste, but the loss of resources in regard to Afghanistan. And the 20 years we've been there with the, I guess, the agenda of punishing whoever was involved in 9/11, and we did, and we punished and killed a lot of people along the way, and they killed a lot of people from the other side. So what did we really accomplish? And that's really important, that it not be in vain. We might have learned that war doesn't work, especially in the modern world. Not only does global kind of catastrophic nuclear type war obviously not work, but there's this kind of terrorism doesn't allow for people to engage in conversation, because the terrorists are mad at the non-terrorists, and the non-terrorists are mad at terrorists, and nobody will talk to anybody. So what are we going to do about that? And the only thing we can do, I think we can work for peace, we can pray for peace. Nations should not lift up sword against nations. Neither should they learn war anymore. Don't walk in front of me, I may not follow. Don't walk behind me, I may not leave. Just walk beside me and be my friend. Together we will walk in the path of Hashem. Goes to the cherry berry hill. I said, Bill singing leapfrog. Goes to the cherry berry hill. Left I go cherry berry hill. Right I like cherry berry hill. Cherry hill, cherry bomb, cherry hill, cherry hill, bomb it, bomb it, bomb it. As I've said before, when we bless on Shabbat, we bless the source. When we say a prayer, we say a blessing, we bless the source and never the thing. And so as we bless the Shabbat, in this case, grape juice, would you join me and sing along if you know the tune, or else hum along? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu, likaron lema'aseh v'le'eshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta otanu kidashta mikol amin v'shabbat kodesh be'ahava u'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat. Mm. It tastes especially sweet since I'm on a no sugar thing, but grape juice for Shabbat doesn't count. So, how does someone, I think the majority of Jewish people in the world do not attend a religious service, a formal religious service on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, maybe Yom Kippur, but not Rosh Hashanah, or maybe Rosh Hashanah, but not Yom Kippur. And for a lot of people, that's the only service they attend. But is there and are there other ways that we can celebrate and that we can commemorate the importance of this time of year, of this time of transition, of fall, of bringing in the new and letting go of the old, of making amends and making things work? Can we do that outside of the walls of a synagogue? So my answer is yes. And I think a park, a city street, a field, a backyard, a porch, a bedroom, an office, basically anywhere, on top of a mountain, in a valley, to be one with ourselves and to appreciate and step into the solemnity and the tranquility of the possibility of Yom Tov. And there's a very pretty image. Last night, one of my students asked me, well, why even talk about the Torah, the Bible? It's just ridiculous. And there's so many ridiculous things in there. I say, yes. If the Torah is true, it's unbelievable. And if it's fiction or partly fiction, that's unbelievable too, because who could think of all those stories? So one of the pictures that is given in text is the very slow opening of gates, which actually started last Saturday on Slichot. And the gates open very, very slowly. And outside of the gates is our mundane, difficult, happy, joyful, up and down, loss, gaining, winning, losing, crying, laughing lives. And there are good things and there are bad things, there are beautiful things and there are ugly things. There's kindness and there's meanness, there's inclusion, there's exclusion, all that stuff, racism and prejudice and misogyny and anti everything and anything that anybody can think of. When you enter the gates and they're open enough to begin entering them on Rosh Hashanah, there is a space. And this space is open and free and accepting and non-judgmental and full of truth and merciful. And in that gate is an opportunity to look at yourself, whether you're going to take a look at the deeds that you've done or the misdeeds that you've done and own them and make way for better deeds in the coming year. A time to return to ourselves and to become one. Because every time we cheat or we lie or we deceive or we gossip or we discriminate meanly or we treat someone badly or we are abusive verbally or physically, all those things, every time it happens, we lose a little part of ourselves, right? We lose a little part of ourselves. And then on Rosh Hashanah, you can begin to recollect those parts of yourself and get back in your body and know that you can do it differently and know that no one's perfect and that you can change and that we can change and that we can be better. So that's something that you can do anywhere. It's nice to do in a synagogue. It's nice to tune in online and see a service, participate in a service. It's nice to listen to the choir, all that stuff, and people read and verses and read things out of the prayer book. And also, don't forget that in antiquity, prayer was individual and original, and it's okay to just, may you be blessed with happiness, may you be blessed with peace, may you be blessed with honor, may you be blessed with justice. To just bless someone is quite sufficient as a blessing, and we can make our own prayers. So my recommendation is that you start stepping into the gates and bring all the goodwill and all the good intentions and all the mercy and understanding and forgiveness and kindness and acceptance and non-judgmental energy to the table, and leave it there for 10 days and see what happens. And own your shortcomings and rejoice at your successes, and open your heart, because when you open your heart, amazing things happen. And we've all been in what has felt like a very dangerous ship at sea for a long time, and we're not sure if we've gotten to the shore yet. So my recommendation is that we are kind to each other, and soft and gentle and generous and forgiving and merciful. Merciful is so important. Mercy is one, to me, the highest virtues, is to give someone, give them the benefit of the doubt. Let it go. Don't engage. Don't yell back. Don't fight back. Let me be a little kinder. Let me be a little blinder to the faults of those around me. Let me praise a little more. Let me be when I am weary. Just a little bit more cheery. Because a little more of others and a little less of me. Let me be a little braver. When temptation gets me waver, let me try a little harder. Be all that I can be. Let me be a little deeper. A brother or sister that we a little more about. A little more about me. Let me be when I am weary, just a little bit more to I was hard, be all that let me be a little weaker, with the sister that is a little more of others, little less of me. So, whether it's the ocean or the beach or in a park or in your backyard or in your living room or in your study or in your workroom or in your workout room or in the street where it's safe or on the sidewalk or anywhere that you can stop and notice that the trees are blowing, the wind is whistling, the sky is blue sometimes. Things can get better. Things don't have to get worse, and we don't have to feel like it could be worse because when it's bad, it's bad. When it's good. And nobody has to tell us that it could be worse or that just is. And let's just rejoice in the fact that, and I'll say it personally, this soul got a body. That's enough, Diane. So I will see your team at 5 o'clock on Monday for Rosh Hashanah on Zoom. And I will see you next Friday for Shabbat. And may you have a blessed and a sweet Yom Tov and 10 days during which you can return to yourself in forgiveness, in mercy, in understanding, and most important, in joy, which we call Simcha. Shabbat Shalom.